Before I knew we were poor, everything was magic. An empty fridge meant freezer-burned popsicles for dinner. Purple blue mouths and toothless smiles calmed the torment in my mother's crux. Everything was an adventure. A shared bedroom with my little brother meant an eternal playmate, a warm tent closed off by a blanket hung from a bunk bed, and a hairdryer snuck under the sheets to keep us warm. Arctic explorers waiting for a rescue unit. Everything was a mystery. Voices resounding from the living room, vehemently snaking through the short halls of the apartment, and then one day I had everything, and everything was over too soon. Happy National Poetry Month, and welcome to Monday Morning Book Buzz. Opening remarks were written by Grammy Award nominated and platinum-selling musician Halsey in her book, I Would Leave Me If I Could, a collection of poetry. That was published in 2020, and it's a very good book. I'm Heather from the Bay County Public Library. Nice to see you today. I'm in my own living room today because it's pouring outside. Well, I would be remiss in the month of April if I did not discuss the new biography of Sylvia Plath, published in October of 2020. Red Comet, The Short Life and Blazing Art of Sylvia Plath by Heather Clark. It is massive, and by massive, I mean this book is pushing 1,000 pages, if you don't even count the notes. Heather Clark has already presented several works on Plath, and this is a culmination of her extensive research. Since the letters, diaries, and unpublished papers of Sylvia Plath, as well as the complete archives of Ted Hughes, have now been released. Sylvia Plath died in her kitchen in London the morning of February 11th, 1963, just hours before the Beatles recorded Please Please Me in their studio across town. And that same morning, Ted Hughes, upon hearing the news, rushed to her apartment and found on the kitchen table the completed manuscript of Ariel, ready for publication and dedicated to their children, Frida and Nick, who had been rescued, cold and hungry, from their bedroom adjacent to the kitchen. Already on the cutting edge of 20th century poetry, Ariel put Sylvia Plath in the hands and hearts of every college student and every poetry reader around the world. She was famous for her fiery-edged, sharp-edged poetry, icy anger, and suicidal depression. This work of amazing scholarship makes a powerful case for what is now becoming apparent in retrospect. The history of Sylvia Plath is greater than the tragic story of a brilliant girl, more than a really good poet whose work, while promising, was cut too short to be sustainable. This is bigger than a love story, and way more than sad. Sylvia Plath is to the 20th century what Emily Dickinson is to the 19th century. This masterwork takes the focus away from the suicide and back to the amazing life and letters of Sylvia Plath. It is a far more complete picture and way more detailed than I could have imagined. But so many of the questions you may have had about her life are answered right here in this book. All the characters surrounding her storied time here among us are much more fully realized. You get to know her mother, Aurelia, her father, Otto, well, what she remembers of him because he died when she was 8, her brother, Warren, and of course, Ted Hughes, who becomes, in a way, more real now than when he was a legend in life. If you have always wanted to know more, to hear the real story, I think this is as good as it gets, The Red Comet, The Short Life and Blazing Art of Sylvia Plath by Heather Clark. Now, just in case you're up to here with poetry, or you just can't take another dark tale of woe, helpless, hopeless, unhappiness, I've got something completely different. What if you had A completely different attitude toward misfortune, pain, and suffering. What if you could take tragedy and turn it into a power source? Here it is. Every Day is a Gift, a memoir by Tammy Duckworth. This was published in 2021, so it's just out. This is a story, in her own words, of the remarkable, indomitable Senator Tammy Duckworth. This is plucky persistence, absolute dedication, courage beyond measure, and strength that defies belief. There is no fairy godmother in this childhood. Tammy was born to a Thai mother of Chinese descent and a soldier from Virginia. She grew up in Thailand, war-torn Cambodia, Jakarta, Singapore, Hawaii, and landed in continental United States only when it was time for graduate school. Growing up with a profound respect for the American military, Tammy joined the Army after completing a master's in international affairs, and she became one of the first and few female Black Hawk helicopter pilots in the United States military. In 2004, on a mission in Iraq, a rocket-propelled grenade exploded in her cockpit, instantly blowing off both her legs, vaporizing them, she said, and badly injuring her right arm. Long story short, this didn't stop her. She finished her PhD, became proficient with a full range of assistive technology, and became a United States Senator. And Tammy Duckworth also became a mother. In fact, she is perhaps most well known as the first woman senator to give birth while in office, and the very first senator to bring a newborn baby onto the Senate floor in order not to miss a vote for her constituents. She is awesome. The story is wildly unbelievable and all absolutely true. A hero among us. This is inspiring. Every Day is a Gift by Tammy Duckworth. Book Club is Wednesday, April 14th at 11 a.m. Email me for a link. Please keep your mask on, get your vaccination as soon as you can, and don't forget we've got a local election going on right now. Vote with all your heart. I'm Heather from the library. Happy reading!